Let's fire up this baby! Yeah! Okay, so let's all just start our synthesizers and make sure we start at 0 so that you can follow. And basically we're looking at effect control and how to apply effects to our performance. So I'll be recording this over the microphone of the camera because I'm too lazy to record it off the synthesizer, the audio off the synthesizer and my talking and all that. So just don't mind that quality. So the first thing we'll do is we will change our performance, okay? If you haven't changed your home screen, it will start with lay it down. We'll just click performance and then we'll pick something else other than FX and electro. No, not world, love songs, hell no. Funk. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we'll stick with Double Dip the Funk, which is user 1 and it's song 012 R&B and funk. Now, what we can do with effects is we can only apply effects across the whole board of our parts, meaning the common is the only thing we can apply effects to. So that means that the only way we can make sure that each of our parts has an effect or doesn't have an effect is by altering how much of the effect is being sent to the part. Okay? And that is where chorus send and reverb send comes in, over here at the volume control, or else in the effect in each of the part FX send tab. We'll have a look at that. But for now, let's have a look at the 3 columns of controls that we need to work with here. Maybe 4. We'll need the slider control, we'll need the master control with the select button so that we can go down to chorus send, reverb send. And we'll need the effect button over here for our knobbies, and we'll need the effect on off, so the LEDs that are also displayed in the little screen with the blue tabs on the bottom, or white tabs, whichever you have your display select. Too. But anyway, now chorus send and reverb send is basically how much of the effect that you have chosen, whether it is the reverb, the chorus, or the master effect, how much of that is being sent to each of the parts. That means anywhere from 0 to 127 is the value we can select and have the effect control that part. Or yeah, just shut it off. The effect control also states a chorus return and reverb return, which is basically a control on how that performance returns, well, I guess to the speakers. Really, this is the overall control. So although we can use the sliders to turn on and off parts individually, the control up here affects across the whole board, and we'll have a very close look at that. So if you have selected already that performance, let's do another step together. So let's go down to chorus send on our master volume, chorus send, and we take the sliders all the way down and then just move it up a little bit so that you actually tell the sliders where they're at, and set everything to 0 but part perfect, we'll take that, but part 4 will go all the way up. So we need to have in the display 127. Now we'll go to reverb send, 1 LED down, and we'll go to 0 on all of them. Yeah, all of them. And then we can go up to volume. The effect control for our knobs will set the chorus return to 127 and the reverb return to 0. For now, we don't want to mess with a reverb. The effect control, we just make sure everything is on except reverb and the master. So MFX is the master effect and reverb, rev, chorus, CHO. Now that we have that, let's select an effect. There's two ways we can do that. We either hit Shift and Common, go to the screen, or we go into Edit and confirm in the highlighted Common tab, and then we go down to Effect. And right now chorus is sent as with the effect tempo phaser, so we hit enter in there, and we just want to change that to something more obvious. So let's turn part 4 on. Oh, that was bad. I think that was bad. No, wait. There we are. Okay, so let's have a listen to that different phaser. That's pretty obvious. So if you change your chorus to VCM phaser stereo and the preset deep sweeper, that is very obvious, the difference in that. Let's just have another listen to that. Off. On. And you can hear the sweep of the tonal length anyway. Now that we have that, we can basically do the same thing for the reverb if we want that, so you have hall effects in there and whatever, but we just want to skip that for now. Let's just go, while we're having this close-up, let's go into master, and I know that this lo-fi is very, very obvious. So from the standard setting, I just tapped increase twice, or you just use your wheel and just go find lo-fi, and then we want to exit out of there. So in this screen, let's just make sure master is set on lo-fi and the VCM phaser stereo, and then we exit out of there as well. So right now you can see my chorus is off, the reverb is off, and the MFX is off. Okay, so let's have a listen again. And we can hear the effect is applied as soon as we have the chorus on. Now, when we have our performance, we don't want to have the effect cut in and out, just on and off. At least I don't, because it sounds crappy and sometimes the timing is off and so it doesn't sound right. So the one way you can do that across the board is if you use your knob. So being an effect, you go chorus return and you slowly crank it up and down, and then you can change the effects. To do it fast, you just hold shift and it changes in increments of 10. But apart from that, let's have a listen to that master effect real quick. Again, pretty obvious. So the master effect, no matter what setting you have here, is always applied to all of the parts. There's nothing you can do, at least I don't know how. You have to turn it on and off there. But for the chorus and reverb, there is the one thing you can do, which is how much is that effect being applied to every separate part. What do I mean by that? Let's say drums. You know, it's cool that we have this guitar kind of deal being affected so nicely, because it really sounds great, but we don't want that with the drums. So let's have a listen to the drums. They sound fine, although our guitar still has the deep sweep in it. Why is that? Because in the earlier steps we have removed the chorus being sent to part 1, 2, and 3. So let's go down again to chorus send on the master volume, Let's have a look, and you can see the part 4 has a 127 in it, and all the other parts 1, 2, and 3 have a 0. Now if we adjust that, we can hear the drums change. Which is kind of cool. So using the sliders, you can slowly apply that the effect, and how much that effect is being applied to every single part. Or else, to remove the effect completely from all of it at the same time, again, chorus return, reverb return. To shut it off, turn it on, you have your LEDs. Is about the only thing you can do. Except you can also go into each part by, let's say, hitting shift and select the part, and then you go down to FX send, and under FX send we can see chorus send, reverb send. So the same control we had with the master volume and the LED we have here. So for effect, or for part 1, chorus send is at 0. Let's have a listen. Now let's crank it up. Pretty obvious. And again, a fast way to do this, to change that number quickly, or a good way of changing it quickly, is holding shift and using your wheel. Okay, so this is the other thing that you can do. Okay, so now we have learned that, and we know a few ways of how we can apply an effect and how we control it on every single part. And yeah, there is not much more about it.